I'd love to help you thread your sewing machine. Okay, so let's be real, there's a bajillion different sewing machines out there. I'm offering this video as like a things to remember because there's gonna be some foundational things that's gonna work with every sewing machine. Most sewing machines will have some sort of guide or number system printed directly on the machine, and that's what you'll follow to thread your sewing machine. You can always check your owner's manual, but I mean, who really keeps those around anymore? 3 things of threading any type of sewing machine: that the presser foot and the needle are in the up position before you start threading, that there's the basic parts are threaded, and make sure that you cut your thread at an angle before trying to thread it through the needle. 3 main areas that you want to make sure that your thread goes through are: number 1, the tension disc; number 2, the thread guides; and number 3 is the needle. The tension discs are just what they sound like. They're discs inside your machine. You'll have at least 1 set, maybe more. They'll open, your thread runs through them, and then they close together. They'll put pressure on each other, putting tension on the thread and giving you those just right stitches. Thread guides are the little metal hooks and loops that you'll see throughout what hold the thread in place and on the right path, going from the spool of the thread through the tension disc and then into the needle. And maybe you're like, blah, 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 just show me how to thread my sewing machine. Okay, let's do that. First thing, turn on your sewing machine. That light's gonna help you thread the machine a little easier. Lift your presser foot and lift the needle, both in the up position before you start threading your machine. Lifting up the presser foot. Yours might be smaller, little metal thing around in here. Feel around. By raising your presser foot, you're gonna open the tension disc to allow the thread to go through. And then when you put the presser foot down, it's gonna close the tension disc and put that tension on the thread. By raising your needle, you're going to ensure that all of your thread guides are visible. This is a thread guide that's gonna pop up right there. Using the wheel on the right side of your machine, turn the wheel towards you. That's gonna move the needle here to the up position. You always wanna bring the wheel towards you and not away from you. It's kind of like riding a bicycle with gears. You can pedal backwards, but sometimes the chain pops off and messes things up, and you can do it, but just try to remember to turn it towards you. Some sewing machines will have a spool pin here. Mine is actually horizontal under this cover. So find where yours is, and that's where you're gonna put your thread. Taking off the spool plate, I don't know, this little disc thing, you're gonna wanna put the thread on, not like this. You're gonna want it to come from underneath. I don't know if this is like the toilet paper rule where there's that big debate, does it go over or under? I don't know. Maybe the machine cares. I was always taught to put it underneath. And then you can always double check. Yours might have something printed by the spool pin to let you know how it likes the thread. I like to use my other hand to keep a little bit of tension on it, or on the spool to keep it from pulling so much. But really now I'm just following the arrows through the different thread guides. So I'm gonna go under this, and it goes into a eye hook there. The arrow says go up, so I'm gonna come up over this metal piece. This arrow says go down and over, so I'm gonna go down and over. And then that arrow says go up. I'll go up. I'm gonna stay to the right, and this is my next arrow here. And I'm gonna go around this thread guide, pulling it down to the left, and it's gonna go back in that same groove, but because it's around this thread guide here, it will keep it from getting tangled. And then the last thread guide that I have is a loop one here. And then it's time to thread the needle. And make sure that you cut your thread at an angle before trying to thread it through the needle. The point of the scissors towards the ceiling, if you cut it at an angle, it has a tiny, tiny little point to it. It will make it a whole lot more enjoyable to thread through the eye of the needle. And that's it. You threaded your sewing machine. If you found this tutorial helpful, thumbs up. Stop over and say hi on Instagram at switchstitch.shop. See you so soon.